God, I was in the fire of purification, and whether I knew it or not at the time, when I came through all of this, I was going to be a different person whether I wanted to be or not. Whether I wanted to be or not. Hey guys, welcome back to Celeste. Sorry, I'm still on my way home, and a car saw me coming across the stop sign, and it felt like they almost sped up. Had to gather my nerves there, but I couldn't wait till I got back to the house to talk to y'all. I'm so excited, and plus I got like 30 more minutes till I get to the house, so I figured I'd just start the video now about the nursing program. And because there is so much to talk about and I don't start school for another 2 weeks, I'm gonna break this video up into maybe 3 parts, just so it's not a really long video. Yeah, and so I'll tell you guys about everything from the beginning to the end, just in case you guys are interested in the LPN program. The biggest thing that I want you guys to take away from this video is that there is more than one way to skin a cat. Okay, people will tell you, if there's only one route to get to the grocery store in your mind, that's the only route that you're going to hear about. That's the only route that you're going to focus on, because that's the only route you know. Once you start being introduced to other routes, depending on the type of person that you are, you're going to venture on those routes just to see if it's quicker, or what side of town it goes through, and how come you never knew about it. Or you're just going to stick with what you know because that's what has worked for you. That's what you trust. And for me, in the process of healing, elevating, and renewing my mind, retelling myself the story of my life in order to manifest the abundant life that God has for me, the life that I want, I had to pray that God would open up my mind, because I'm a little black girl from the hood, Pompano Beach, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. My dad did not raise me. He lived right across the highway. He's a Rolling Stone, several kids, all different baby mamas. So my mind was really focused on one highway. And that's normal for people that come from where I'm from. You just don't know what you don't know, and you don't get a glimpse at what you don't know if you're not surrounded by a diverse of people. So with that being said, I didn't find out about the nursing program that I'm signed up for until I graduated high school in 2004 from South Carolina. And I didn't find out about the program that I'm in now until 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, because that's the moment that I initially applied. And because of the process, and because of me being all over the place and not having nothing figured out, not having any kind of plans for my future once I realized that having a baby, being a mom of as many kids as I could carry right out of high school wasn't going to be my life. I really just went with the wind. So it wasn't that I was looking for the information, but I had went to school to be a CNA. I went to school to be a phlebotomy tech. I've done the pharmacy tech program, and even in that, I still did not know about the LPN program or even about the school in which I'm going to go through the LPN program. So I had been trying to, just like everybody else, apply for a technical school, community college, or university, or an online school to get my RN. LPN was never ever on my radar, even as a CNA. And I can be honest with you and say that's purely because everybody was boosting RN. Even when I was a CNA, I stopped being a CNA and gave up on the nursing field because so many people that I love that were close to me called me a certified nasty ass cleaner. And it just took away any pride that I had in completing the course. Like, when I listen to videos and posts about people in nursing school and struggling, I immediately start praying, because when I went through the CNA program, I enjoyed it. Like, it was fun to me being stressed to get the information and then pass my tests. No, I wasn't an A student, but I passed my class first try. I didn't have to retake any tests. I didn't fail any tests. And the first chance that I took to take my certification for CNA, I passed. So I'm trying to hold on to my excitement about actually going to class, even though I skipped most of my high school years, to the point where when I graduated with a 3.75, they still tried to tell me I missed so many days that they weren't going to give me my diploma. I did end up getting my diploma, and I didn't have to do nothing extra because my GPA spoke for itself. It just was what it was. And I was in AP classes and still did not know about signing up with the school for LPN. And the reason why I keep emphasizing that, you guys, is because the school that and I want to call it an accelerated LPN program, because I only go to school 4 semesters, fall and spring, and then fall and spring again. So I graduate, my expected graduation date is May 2027. And in my first semester, which we're about to start July 30th, the first half of that semester, so this semester is phase 1. The first half of the semester, which is semester 1, is from July to October. From October to December, that's technically the second semester of phase 1, and in that semester we start clinicals. So I think it is an accelerated LPN program. None of my paperwork say that, but I mean, in 16 months, 18 months, I'll be an LPN. So I think it is accelerated. But the school that I'm going to, high school students go to that school for dual enrollment. So I'll be in class with high school students, or I'll be going to an education campus that has high school students learning to do nail tech, EMT, mechanics, CDLs, and stuff like that. I'm sorry about all the wind, you guys. I forgot I rolled back down my windows because my AC would be loud. But so when I originally tried to apply for the program, I didn't know how the program worked. I was thinking that it worked just like a community college, and I was somewhat hoping that it didn't. And so because of the process, it took me this third time to get in. And so let's go ahead and talk about enrolling into the LPN program. Okay, so the application process for me was from November to February. But I've noticed that this year they've opened up the application process starting in August. Hold on one second. Let me get this pipe from out the back of my car because it is getting on my nerves. Not quite ready to own a gun yet, so, and it shouldn't have been back there. I got a taser in my purse, and I got pepper spray too. But yeah, so sorry about that, y'all. So the application is $20, and because I was all over the place in my life when I applied. I don't know what I was thinking. I just went on about my life because the application process was open for so long. And I was thinking that it was going to be like a technical or community college. I know it wasn't going to be like a university, but I was hoping that it wasn't. And I'm going to wait to get into that. I'll wait to get into that part. But, okay, so $20 to apply. The application is very basic. Your name, date of birth, your social security number, address, basic stuff. And then on the back side, they want you to do a paragraph talking about why you want to be a nurse. So when I turned the two different years that I tried, I was in Arizona working, and when the stuff came to the house the first time, I realized, okay, I missed it. Second year, I was trying to get my husband to pay attention to the mailbox so that he could let me know when it came, and together we could get it taken care of because I was in Arizona. And coming right back to do anything was not going to be as easy as him helping me while he was here, and then once I realized what was next on the list, I could get back. So, and I had already knew that I was going to get into the program. Like, I knew that I was going to get in the program. I just didn't know that I had to rearrange and I had to be better with me and my life in order to even be a nurse. And we're going to get into that too. But I was determined that when the next year came around, 2024, I was going to be in place and at least get past that part. So last year I applied, did everything. I was already here because of the work from home job that I had in Arizona, the one that I just previously lost. And so when the letter came in the mail, the letter was telling, it had all these instructions on stuff we had to do. Side note, going through this accelerated program, when I tell you I did not understand just how effed up in life I was, when I tell you I didn't understand just how much I had let me go, how much I didn't love me, how much I didn't honor or respect me, because there was so much tedious little things that had to be done this entire freaking process, you guys. When I tell you that the application was the most simplest part of this entire thing, just the enrollment process, y'all. That's the only thing I can give y'all information on right now is the enrollment process. And so, oh my goodness, y'all, when they sent the paper, it was all these different, you had to set up an account with the school. You had to set up an account with this company called Castle Branch. They're the ones that we had to submit all of our documents, our background check, and our drug test through. So you also had to, they gave you resources to study because we had to take the TABE test as the entrance exam. And the TABE test basically tests what level of high school education you're at. That's it. And they use the TABE test because there are high school students doing dual enrollment as juniors at the school for whatever trade it is that they want. So you filled out all this paper. You filled out this paperwork. You set up I think it was like 3 accounts that we had to set up. And then you showed up in March to take the tape test. When I tell you taking the tape test was like this big old thing, like we had to spend an hour, 2 hours just talking about the tape test and what happens if you fail, what the tape test is for, how the scoring works, how you get in based on your scores, what happens if you fail, and then you retake the test, and if you score high or if you don't score as good. 2 hours. Then we went into a room and we took the test. They gave us formula sheets, they gave us scratch paper, they gave us a pencil, and we could use the calculator on the computer. Like the actual test had like a little icon for a calculator. We took the test. As soon as we finished the test and we left the room, they let us know whether we passed or we failed. When I tell you the enemy did not want me to come out of the dark hole that I was in, because every step of this way, the devil has met me. The devil has met me. But what the devil didn't know is that God was carrying me to that destination. Because, baby, when I tell you, it felt like nothing wanted me to do this. I'm talking from the very beginning. When I took the test and I came out that room, that lady told me I failed the test. She told me I failed the test. And because of where I wasn't fully healed yet, and I had not started retelling myself my story over. So when she told me I failed, I expected it. I wasn't like, oh man, I wasn't sad, I wasn't disappointed. It was like I knew it. So I immediately came home and I started signing up for another account to do all the practice tests so that I could test again, because you only get one retake before you have to wait until the next year to reapply, because everything has a deadline. And it's crazy how everything has a deadline, but they don't tell you about said thing until the deadline is approaching. Hold on, you guys, let me get out and get into the house. Okay, I had to get my setup rigging, and I wanted to get my papers out so that I could show you guys. So when I filled out the application, they sent us a letter. Okay, here's the $20 receipt that I paid for my application, and this was the paperwork that we got in the mail. Once you applied, we got this in the mail, and this was basically just letting us know about step 1. You had to go to the website for the school and set up a student account. It gave us the dates that we could take our exams. We had to, prior to the date that we wanted, we had to fill out the back of this form. There was a number for us to call. We had to give them our information, and then they gave us a seat number, and they gave us the time, and they told us the name of the person that we spoke with to set up that test date. And then once we got there, that's when they did the whole big orientation thing, and then we went into the class. After the class, she told me that I failed. She gave me this paper right here with test scores on it. This is like the table to show you where you scored at, like what level you were on, depending on your score, whatever the case may be. So when I walked out of the testing class, she gave me this paper and told me, unfortunately, you failed. Okay. This was on February 4th. This is on February 4th. Later that evening, I got an email saying, congratulations, you passed. You had to get a level D on the math and the reading, and you had to score higher than a 576 for reading, and you had to score higher than a 537 for the math. For the reading, I scored 578, and for the math, I scored a 541. When I tell you, it was almost like, I felt like on the inside, silently, I felt like, oh, I thought so. Like, what was that? But because of where I was, you guys, emotionally, I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. Oh my God, thank you so much. I am going to show you, God, that I can sit still, that I can focus, and that I can see something through. I promised God that because I did sit still to apply, and I did sit still to get past that point, that I would see it through. I would see it through. And baby, I'm glad I made that commitment to God, because the old me would not be sitting here before you guys able to even record this video, because girl, this process right here, I'm telling you, and I'm sure that it's different for everybody. The one thing I do want to say is, it's the people that I ran into in this process. Also, I was a person that was still carrying an old wineskin empty of wine, and I was trying to fill it. That's where I was in life. So for me, I can tell you at this point, at the end of the enrollment process, I know that until I got my golden ticket, and we're going to get there, I was on my 40-year walk. And God preserved me all 40 years on that walk, because I had a destiny. Like, I had a purpose, and God knew that I knew who I truly was, and I just had to get over and let go of what I couldn't change to see my full potential and act and walk in that full potential. So when I found out that I passed that test, I said, come hell or high water, I didn't care what happened. I was going to see this process through. Me moving to North Carolina wasn't me forgetting the promise that I made God. It was, God, no matter what is going on in my life, I am going to see this through, because I didn't know it at the time, but I knew that me seeing this through, it was my golden ticket to my shift, my dimension shift. It was my golden ticket to living in and realizing everything that I had manifested and created for myself when I went to Arizona the first time. So I took the test. I found out that I passed. That was in March. Then we got an email. When we got that email, the email was letting us know, congratulations, you made satisfactory scores to continue. I got this email. Let me see if, I don't think I printed out the date because it was an attachment. And the date is not on it. But I got this letter in March, and it's just basically letting us know that one of the accounts that we signed up for, we needed to make sure that we had our money orders ready and to come to orientation on May 20th. Y'all, when I found out I passed and I got this, I was like, yay, I'm in the LPN program. Woo, woo, one time for me. One time for me. Uh-oh, one time for me. One time for me. Uh-oh, one time for me. Nope, put a pause on it, boom. Put a pause on it. No, we have not even touched the surface. So this was basically to get the ball rolling. And this is when I realized just how much I let myself go, how much I failed myself, and just how deep down in depression I was when it got to this point right here. This point is what let me know that God, I was in the fire of purification, and whether I knew it or not at the time, when I came through all of this, I was going to be a different person, whether I wanted to be or not. Whether I wanted to be or not, a different person from the inside out. And y'all, I could sit here and I could tell y'all, there is nothing about who I used to be that is attractive enough for who I am today and who I'm becoming tomorrow to go back to who that girl was. Like, I am her. And I haven't even finished my 40-year journey, and I am her. I am her, y'all. That is why I'm changing my channel to Her Journey Begins. Like, y'all, I did the healing. I've experienced my elevating. I have been renewing my mind. And I just got my freaking golden ticket, and it for me, it's a signal. It signals that I've healed, that I have elevated, and that I have renewed my mind, yo. And the journey that I'm on now is completely different than the one I was on before.
I loved you that much that I gave you everything to receive myself. You saved me from